All right, let's talk Sun Tzu. But I want you to just throw out everything you think you know about the art of war. We're not talking about those motivational posters you see in some office or any of that corporate retreat fluff. Today, we are diving headfirst into a raw, completely unfiltered interpretation. This is the Warlord Edition. And yeah, it's all about ruthless dominance.
Okay, so yeah, that pretty much sets the tone, right? This take on Sun Tzu, it does not mess around. No pleasantries, no warm-up, it's just a straight-up gut punch. The whole point is to take these ancient ideas and turn them into weapons for the modern world. So let's get into it.
And this right here, this is the absolute core of the whole thing. Forget what you've seen in movies about honorable duels or, a fair fight. That is out the window. This is all about psychological warfare. It's about getting so deep inside your opponent's head, manipulating them so completely that the actual physical fight, well, it's pretty much over before it even starts. Okay, so first things first. We gotta understand the foundation that this whole strategy is built on. This is like the bedrock of the entire warlord mindset. Now, according to this take, this is the absolute peak of genius. Think about it. Why would you ever risk your people, your resources, your life in a real fight if you don't have to? The idea is to use fear, to use misinformation, to intimidate your enemy so badly that they just break. They surrender before a single punch is thrown. You've won the war inside their head, and that's the only one that really matters. Yeah, this is a pretty brutal simplification of probably the most famous line from The Art of War, right? But it cuts right to the chase. This isn't about counting soldiers or tanks. It's about knowing their psychology. What keeps them up at night? What are they afraid of? What are their weaknesses, their vices? That stuff, that's your real ammo. Victory doesn't come from just running in screaming. It comes from cold, hard, calculated knowledge. So, this whole philosophy, it really boils down to three main pillars. If you can master these, you can master any battlefield. And pillar number one, arguably the most important, is deception. And look, we're not just talking about telling a little lie. This is about being the architect of your enemy's reality. You literally control what they see. You control what they believe. And because of that, you control how they're going to react. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? This is the core of the strategy. You make yourself look weak. You pretend you're in chaos. You look like an easy target. And you let them get cocky. Let them walk right into the trap you've set. And the second they're committed, the second they can't back out, you unleash everything you've got. Okay, pillar number two, speed. Once that trap is sprung, you have to move. And it has to be lightning fast. We're talking overwhelming force, insane velocity. The goal is to hit them so hard and so fast, they literally have no time to even process what's happening, let alone try to regroup or fight back. And this is why long, drawn-out wars are for suckers. According to this philosophy, a long fight just bleeds you dry. It drains your resources, it kills morale, it just grinds you down. The goal here is savage, brutal efficiency. Get in, get it done, and get the hell out before the tables turn. And that brings us to the third and final pillar, adaptability. You've all heard the saying, no plan survives first contact with the enemy, right? Well, that's the whole idea. If your strategy is rigid, if it's set in stone, you're already dead. The real master, the true warlord, is formless. They're totally unpredictable. And I mean, come on, you're not going to find a more vivid metaphor than that, are you? But it gets the point across perfectly. It's about being completely fluid, just reacting and changing in real time to whatever is happening on the ground. How can your enemy counter your plan if they can't even figure out what it is? Because by the time they do, you've already changed it. All right, so we've got the philosophy down. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the practical side of things. How do you actually use this stuff on the ground? Let's talk tactical execution.
When you lay it out like this, the choice is pretty obvious, isn't it? Why would you get into a bloody, expensive head-on fight when you can just twist their minds and win? Deception is cheap, it's deadly, it's efficient. You make them fight ghosts, chase shadows, and while they're distracted, you move in for the kill. It's really the difference between being a surgeon and being a sledgehammer.
And the sequence here is everything. This is all about patience. You don't just run in blindly. Step one, you find their weakness. Where are they exposed? Where are they overconfident? Step two, you wait. You let them get tired. Step three, You master the terrain, turn the battlefield itself into a weapon, and only then, when everything is perfectly aligned, you unleash hell. It's all about building up all this pressure and releasing it in one single savage moment. Okay, so if what we just covered was the core operating system, think of this next part as the advanced toolkit. This is the upgrade patch. We're talking specialized tools for getting that total psychological and tactical dominance. I love this concept, the hammer and snake combo. It's brilliant. See, you don't just attack one way. First, you hit them with a hammer. That's your big, loud, obvious attack. It gets their attention, creates chaos. And then, while they're scrambling to deal with that, bam! The snake strikes from somewhere they never expected. It's a 1-2 punch that keeps them completely disoriented. And here's where it gets really cold-blooded. This is espionage broken down into a brutally practical toolkit. We all know information wins wars, right? Well, this is how you get it. And it's not just about getting info. Look at the dead spy. You feed your own spy false information, knowing they'll be caught, and spill it to the enemy. You're sacrificing one of your own people just to plant a lie. It's absolutely brutal, and damn, is it effective. And it doesn't stop there. Here are a few more weapons for the arsenal. Using fire, that's not just about burning stuff. It's psychological. You're burning their supplies, sure, but you're also burning their morale. Watching nature, that's about seeing the little things, the disturbances that animals and locals notice that your enemy can't hide. And knowing your battle zones, that just means you're smart enough to know that every single situation demands a different kind of fight, a different kind of savagery. All right, we have covered a lot of pretty brutal ground. So let's wrap this up. Let's boil this whole thing down to the core commandments. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Creating a totally, completely unfair advantage. And here it is. This is the Warlord's Code. Every single thing we've talked about, deception, speed, spies, it all serves these principles right here. And this isn't a code for someone who just wants to compete. No, this is for someone who wants to dominate. And that last line, never ever play fair, well, that says it all, doesn't it? In this world, fairness is just a weakness you can use against your opponent. And really, this is the most important thing to get. This whole interpretation, it's not a history lesson. It's not about ancient armies with swords and shields. It's being presented as a playbook for right now. For any competitive situation you can think of, business, sports, negotiations, whatever. It's about adopting a mindset that is geared towards one thing and one thing only: total control and absolute victory. Which, of course, brings us to the final question for you. We've just torn apart this incredibly raw, aggressive philosophy. And it kind of makes you think, right? All these principles, deception, speed, mind games, they really can be used anywhere. So the real question isn't just, what did you learn from this? The real question is, what's your battlefield?